In the very beginning, before there were cities, before there were stories, before there was anything we know, there was a garden. Not just any garden, but a perfect place called Eden, crafted by God Himself. And into this breathtaking paradise, God placed the first man, Adam. Imagine a world where every need is met, where peace reigns supreme, and your only job is to care for this beautiful creation alongside every animal you can imagine. This was Adam's reality. He walked with God in the cool of the day, a direct, unbroken connection. But even in perfection, God saw that something was missing. He said, "It is not good for the man to be alone. I will make a helper suitable for him." So, while Adam was in a deep sleep, God took one of his ribs, and from it, He formed the first woman, Eve. When Adam woke and saw her, he recognized her instantly as part of himself. "This is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh," he said. They were two, yet one, living in complete harmony with each other and with their Creator. In the Garden of Eden, they were given just one rule, one single boundary in a world of limitless freedom. God told them, "You are free to eat from any tree in the garden, but you must not eat from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, for when you eat from it, you will certainly die." Think about that. Just one no in a world of yes. They lived in this blissful state, innocent and unaware of anything but the goodness surrounding them. They had no shame, no fear, no guilt. Their lives were a testament to pure, unblemished connection with God. This was the dawn of humanity, a perfect beginning in a perfect world. But as we know, stories rarely stay simple, and a new character was about to enter the scene, one that would test their obedience and change the course of history forever. Now, into this perfect scene slithered a cunning character, the serpent. The Bible describes him as more crafty than any of the wild animals God had made. He approached Eve not with a direct attack, but with a subtle, twisting question. Did God really say, "You must not eat from any tree in the garden"? He started with a seed of doubt, misrepresenting what God had actually said. Eve corrected him, explaining they could eat from the trees, just not the one in the middle of the garden, lest they die. This is where the serpent laid his trap. "You will not certainly die," he hissed. He directly contradicted God. Then he went a step further, questioning God's motives. For God knows that when you eat from it, your eyes will be opened, and you will be like God, knowing good and evil. He painted God not as a loving protector, but as a gatekeeper, holding them back from something better, from becoming like Him. The temptation was powerful. It wasn't just about a piece of fruit. It was about knowledge, power, and the allure of being more than they were. Eve looked at the tree. The fruit was beautiful. It looked delicious. And most of all, it promised wisdom. The serpent's words echoed in her mind. The desire to know, to see the world as God sees it, became overwhelming. In that moment of doubt and desire, she reached out, took the fruit, and ate it. The choice was made. The one rule was broken. But she wasn't alone in this. She then gave some of the fruit to Adam, who was with her, and he also ate. No questions, no hesitation. He joined her in the act of disobedience. The two people who had known only perfect harmony had just made a choice that would ripple through all of time. The moment they ate the fruit, everything changed. The serpent's promise came true, but in the most tragic way. Their eyes were opened, but what they saw was not divine wisdom. For the first time, they saw their own vulnerability, their own nakedness. And with this new knowledge came a new feeling: shame. They, who had walked in perfect innocence, now felt exposed and scrambled to cover themselves with fig leaves. The open, fearless relationship they had with each other and with God was shattered. Then they heard it, the sound of God walking in the garden in the cool of the day. A sound that once brought them joy now brought them terror. Overcome by guilt and fear, they did something they had never done before. They hid from their Creator. Imagine that. trying to hide from the one who knows everything, who is everywhere. God called out, not in anger, but with a searching heart, "Adam, where are you?" It wasn't a question of location. It was a question of relationship. "Where have you gone?" Adam's reply was filled with this new, toxic emotion of fear. "I heard you in the garden, and I was afraid because I was naked, so I hid." God's response cut straight to the heart of the matter. "Who told you that you were naked? Have you eaten from the tree that I commanded you not to eat from?" The moment of accountability had arrived. But instead of taking responsibility, the blame game began. Adam pointed his finger at Eve. "The woman you put here with me, she gave me some fruit from the tree and I ate it." He even subtly blamed God for giving him the woman in the first place. When God turned to Eve, she in turn blamed the serpent. "The serpent deceived me and I ate." No one was willing to own their choice. This breakdown of trust and responsibility was the immediate consequence of their disobedience. The perfect harmony of Eden was replaced by a messy tangle of fear, shame, and blame. The connection was broken, and now they would have to face the consequences of their actions. The consequences of their choice were immediate and far-reaching. God, in his justice and holiness, had to address the broken covenant. He turned first to the serpent, cursing it above all other animals. Then he spoke to Eve, foretelling pain in childbirth and a shift in the dynamic between her and Adam. To Adam, God cursed the ground itself. The easy abundance of Eden was gone. From now on, work would be hard toil. "By the sweat of your brow you will eat your food," God said, "until you return to the ground, since from it you were taken. For dust you are, and to dust you will return." Physical death, which was held at bay, was now a certainty for humanity. But the most heartbreaking consequence was their expulsion from the Garden of Eden. They could no longer live in God's direct presence in that perfect place. God placed mighty cherubim and a flaming sword to guard the way to the tree of life, ensuring that humanity in its fallen state would not live forever. They were sent out into the world we now know, a world of beauty, yes, but also a world of struggle, pain, and separation from God. This is what theologians call the fall. It wasn't just a fall from a place, but a fall from a state of being, from innocence to guilt, from communion to separation. Yet even in this moment of judgment, there was a glimmer of hope. In the curse on the serpent, God made a profound promise. He said that the offspring of the woman would crush the serpent's head. This is the very first whisper of the gospel, a promise that one day a descendant of Eve would come and deal a final, fatal blow to the source of evil and deception. This single verse, hidden within the story of the fall, points forward through thousands of years of history to the coming of a Savior who would ultimately redeem humanity and restore that broken relationship. So, the story of Adam and Eve isn't just a tale about two people in a garden. It's our story. It explains the world we live in, a world filled with breathtaking beauty and profound brokenness. It explains the human heart, our capacity for incredible love and creativity, but also our struggle with pride, shame, and the temptation to go our own way. It sets the stage for the entire drama of the Bible, which is ultimately God's grand rescue plan to bring us back to Him. It's the story of paradise lost, but it's also the beginning of the story of paradise regained. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey back to the very beginning. If this story resonated with you, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into the stories that shape our world. Drop a comment below with your thoughts or what you'd like to explore next. Until next time, stay blessed.